morning, guys. Today's language arts lesson is on irregular verbs, and you'll need your activity page 43 to go along with today's assignment to complete after you watch this video. All right, guys, let's talk about irregular verbs. Irregular verbs do not form the past tense and the past participle by adding D or ED. So you've been taught all these years that to make a verb past tense, you have to add D or ED to the end of it. Well, irregular verbs are what I like to call rebels or rule breakers because they don't follow the rules. The verb actually changes complete form when we're making the past tense or the past participle. All right, so now let's talk about past participle because that's not really something that we've put a lot of focus on. We use it all the time, but we've never really talked about it. So let's look at the definition of past participle. The past participle form of a verb is used with the helping verbs have, has, and had. So we've talked about helping verbs. Well, a past participle is the past tense of a verb with that helping verb before it. That's all it is. All right, so let's look at the example on page 43. They're using the verb see, and I'm so glad they chose this one. We'll talk about that in a minute. The present tense, if we use see in the present tense, he sees the plane. Now, if we change it to past tense, just regular past tense, he saw the plane. Now, let's use it in the past participle form, meaning we're going to have to add has, have, or had before it. He has seen it. And I'm really glad that they chose this as the example because this is an issue that we all have because of where we live in our dialect. So many times you hear people say, he's seen the plane. That's incorrect. You can never use seen without that helping verb before it. If you say seen, it has to have has, have, or had before it. All right, the first verb we're going to look at is go, the base form go. I go to school. I wish we were going to school, don't you? Yesterday, I went to school. There's the past tense of go. Let's look at the past participle. I have gone to school. All right, our next verb, drive. I drive my car. Past tense. Yesterday, I drove my car. Past participle, I have driven my car. All right, let's look at the verb write. Sarah writes a letter to her grandmother. Let's look at the past tense of write. Yesterday, Sarah wrote a letter to her grandmother. Let's look at past participle. Sarah has written a letter to her grandmother. All right, let's look at the verb eat. Today, we eat pizza. Let's look at the past tense of eat. Yesterday, we ate pizza. Let's look at the past participle. We have eaten pizza. All right, let's look at the verb ride. Jack rides his bicycle. Let's look at the past tense. Jack rode his bicycle. Past participle. Jack had ridden his bicycle. All right, and the final one we're going to look at is the verb bring. You bring your homework to school. Let's look at the past tense. Yesterday, you brought your homework to school. Now let's look at the past participle. You have brought your homework to school. Now this one's different than the others because the past tense and the past participle are the same, and that does happen with several verbs when we're looking at past and past participle. All right, and here are just a few more examples of irregular verb forms. Begin, began, has begun. Grow, grew, had grown. Do, did, have done. Here's your lesson on irregular verbs. You can now complete your activity page 43. If you have any questions or you need any help, you know how to get in touch with me, and have a great day.